I understand what it is like to be at that rock bottom place, but it is from that place that we make the changes. We can't make the changes won't happen unless we start implementing them when we are in that rock bottom place. And that is the work, right? People think practices are the meditations and kind of the things you can schedule into your day. That's not. This is the work. This is the hard stuff. If you want to change a habit or situation in your life, you have to change the identity behind it, however hard it might be in that moment. This podcast is called Reconditioned because this is the place where you'll learn how to truly recondition your entire life. Where other wellness podcasts or platforms focus on one particular area of wellness or inner growth, Reconditioned is a one-stop shop for all of it, so that you can get all the information you need to heal and up-level the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of your life in one place. Because that's what I needed when I was healing from the arthritis I had from the age of 2 that left me disabled by 18. I got myself to a place of complete wellness after a very long journey of immersion into the world of healing, where I learned how to heal the whole self. My purpose now is about bringing that to you, and my Rise membership is an extension of that. For women who want to take their wellness and growth to the next level, there really is nothing out there like it. You'll be part of a global community of like-minded women with access to 14 modules that literally take you through everything you ever need to learn in order to bring your life to a place of balance and abundance. With group coaching calls with me, personalized support, community book club, and so much more. Rise becomes part of your life, your lifestyle, enabling you to thrive in the ways you always dreamed, with me right there beside you, championing you through your journey. It's not always open for enrollment, so if you're hearing this now, it's open and ready for you to enroll. Just go to the show notes for the link or visit laurenvaknine.co.uk/rise. Welcome back. You are, of course, listening to the Rise series of the Reconditioned podcast, and this episode might be the most powerful guidance you've ever received, and I'm not exaggerating. I genuinely believe that there is nothing more integral to our growth and our healing than identity. If you've been following the same patterns and habits your whole life and not reaching your goals because of it, whether that be health, whether it be finances, meeting the right partner, whatever it might be for you, I'm going to tell you in this episode exactly why nothing has worked and offer you the transformative tools you need to start making that shift towards success. Okay, here goes. I know, interrupting an episode with an ad is so annoying, I know. But guys, I want to ask you not to fast forward this and listen for just 2 minutes, because there is a huge element of health optimization and reducing risk of illness that most people don't even realize. You need to be reducing artificial blue light in the home and get targeted red light on your body. The reason is because when the body registers blue light, your brain, based on evolution, assumes it's early daytime. But our brains in 2024 are registering blue light from our light bulbs and our screens at literally all hours, prompting our bodies to produce cortisol, the stress hormone, as well as other hormones we just shouldn't be producing at night. This affects our stress and anxiety levels, and it stops the cells in our bodies being able to repair and regenerate at night. And let me be clear, when our cellular health is compromised, we literally cannot stay healthy. And our amazing partner, Block Blue Light, have created some incredible light bulbs that allow you to switch between settings and have only amber light at night, which is what we kitted our whole house out with when we renovated a few years ago. And if you do need to work after dark, like I have to sometimes, Block Blue Light also have amazing blue light blocking red light glasses, some that fit over your usual glasses, and they can even custom make glasses with your prescription. They also have some of the most powerful and effective red light machines on the market, using photobiomodulation to help keep the mitochondria in your cells healthy, something we cannot be healthy without, as well as helping your body to produce more collagen for bones and joints, and to keep skin looking great as you age. It also supports pain and recovery, and red light is said to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's because of how it impacts brain health. We can't control everything happening in this modern world that affects our health, but my personal motto is to mitigate where we can and put in place everything we can for the things we can control, and blue light is one of them. You can get a 10% discount across the range by visiting blockbluelight.co.uk and using the code LV10. Okay, back to the show. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about the topic I believe all my work comes down to, and that is identity. It is the cornerstone, the absolute cornerstone of everything I teach. And you might be thinking, don't you teach about health optimization and inner growth, etc.? Yes, I do. But without existing from the identity of the healthy, aligned person, you can't be that person. So when people join my Rise membership, in the very first module, I tell them that they probably have come here thinking this is about inner child healing and shadow work and health optimization and ancestral healing and meditation, all the other parts of the course that you go through within Rise. But what this course is actually about, beyond all of that, that umbrellas all of it, is identity. And the truth is that every part of your life that you want to heal or improve, it all comes down to identity above all else. And I tell my clients this, and I speak about this probably more than once a day. You cannot shift the behavior, the pattern, or the situation that you're not happy with because you haven't yet changed the identity that enables that situation to continue. Rewind and listen to that again. So as an example, when I was disabled and in huge amounts of pain, it was really hard for me to see a way out of that. Okay, I'm not just talking to you here kind of, not understanding all the situations you might be in and how hard it might be for you right now. I have been in the depths of some of the hardest situations. I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't chew food. I couldn't take myself to the toilet. So I understand what it is like to be at that rock bottom place. But it is from that place that we make the changes. We can't make the changes. The changes won't happen unless we start implementing them when we are in that rock bottom place. And that is the work, right? People think practices are the meditations and kind of the things you can schedule into your day. That's not. This is the work. This is the hard stuff. If you want to change a habit or situation in your life, you have to change the identity behind it, however hard it might be in that moment. Now, when I was disabled and in a lot of pain, I hadn't consciously heard this as advice yet, but something in me just knew it. I knew that I had to start thinking like a healthy person. I had to shut off that disability thinking. What sort of decisions would I make differently if I was healthy? How would I show up in the world differently? Now, of course, in the physical sense, when you're in pain, physically doing the things you want to do, like going to the gym or playing on the floor with your kids or running a business or even creating a video, is really tough when you're in pain. But what were the steps that I could take to change my identity before I was actually physically there? So firstly, something I started doing a very long time ago was to stop calling it my arthritis. And I started calling it the arthritis. As soon as it's mine, it becomes part of my identity. It defines me. It has a hold over me. But it's not mine. It doesn't own me and I don't own it. It's not part of my identity. It does not define me. It is something that has happened because of something in my psyche or my lifestyle or my energy or my ancestral ties allowed it to happen. And as a powerful creator, I can allow it not to happen. And yes, you heard that right. Everything that happens to us is within our control when we move out of victim consciousness and allow ourselves to see the lessons in it. As Neale Donald Walsch says in Conversations with God, you cannot change the outer event because the inner you chose the outer event. Now, it's really hard for us to understand this through the human ego, but we can have an inner knowing, a gnosis of it. And in that gnosis, we can accept and change the inner experience to the outer event. This is what Neale Donald Walsch calls the road to mastery in living. And what he means by that is that nothing is painful in and of itself. Pain is a result of wrong thought. Now that's veering off a bit into understanding how we change our mindset about what we deem to be bad situations in our lives, but it's very relevant. So back to identity. So if you have an illness and you call it my anxiety, my Crohn's, my diabetes, my cancer, my ADHD, my whatever it is, you've given your power over just in that word, my. You've lost your personal power to something you've been told is wrong with you when you have the power within your identity to shift that reality. Nothing is happening to you. It's happening for you. And when you can operate from that place, that's when you're creating the energetic environment for healing to take place. So your first exercise here is to think, where and how am I making this part of my identity? The illness, the not having enough money, or being perpetually single, whatever it is you want to change. Where am I making this part of my identity? And what words, feelings, thoughts, and actions can I change to shift out of that? Right, write that down now. You'll find it's a really powerful exercise. So next is putting your attention where you want to end up, not where you are now. We are where our attention is. We have to focus on what we do want, not what we don't want. When we're so focused on what is happening to us right now, which is what we don't want, we enable that victim mentality or victim consciousness. Why is this happening to me? I don't want this to be happening. This sucks, etc., etc. And it may well suck. You may well be going through something absolutely horrendous right now, like a lot of my clients often are. From illness to abuse to divorce, the list goes on and on. And it's not that I don't have compassion for that. I really do. Or that I want you to not feel your emotions or process them. I do. It's deeper than that. Pain results from the judgment you make about a thing. If we can see every experience as part of our earthly journey, nothing will be painful. So, as someone who couldn't move my limbs or chew food, I do understand what it is like to be in the darkest of holes. But I'm telling you, it's at exactly that place that we have to shift the perspective, however hard that is, to what we do want, not what we don't want. If we're spending the time focusing on what's happening to us, we've deduced that we have no control over it. But we do have control over it. Victim mentality is lack mentality, not abundance mentality. Abundance mentality comes as a result of knowing that we are the masters of our destiny. And again, quoting Neale Donald Walsch, because I just love that book, Conversations with God. He says, your life proceeds out of your intentions for it. How often do we actually focus on what we do want and like? If you think about it, whenever we get something, like if we've achieved something, we just want the next thing. So if, for example, you're looking for your dream home right now, when you get it, how long were you spending gratitude before thinking, well, now I've got it and now I need to decorate it and now I need this to make it nice and now I need that. And now it's done. What else am I focusing on getting? How long do you spend in gratitude for what you already have? And with a positive, inspired, and abundant mindset about the things you still want to manifest. So for example, that people say, I'm so unhappy in my job. How many times have you said or thought that? Instead of allowing the focus to be on how unhappy you are now, what if all your efforts went into focusing on what you do want? The kind of job you do want, the kind of life you want as a result of it. In order to get there, you have to embody the identity of the person who has that job. The powerful, successful creator that you are, as opposed to this weak, powerless victim of this life who has no choice but to stay in a job she hates. I've said it before and I'll say it again and I'll keep saying it. We get to choose our thoughts. How lucky are we? If we can choose our thoughts, why would we choose negative ones? Why would we choose thoughts that don't serve us? Living like that is living in fear, which is one of the lowest vibrational emotions we can experience. Fear is the other end of love. You are love. If you exist in fear, you're existing in primal polarity with what you are. How can you create anything positive from that place? You can't. And when I say negative and positive, I'm not talking about new age positive thinking and visualization and toxic positivity that won't get you anywhere. I'm talking about shifting the internal narrative and visions, which enables desires to manifest because of two things. Number one, by shifting the internal narrative and making it a habit to keep thinking from the perspective of the identity you want to embody, not the one that gets you none of what you want. From that place, you rewire the neural pathways in your brain that kept you thinking like that. That's called neurogenesis, the creation of new neural cells. And that happens through repetition, repetition, repetition. So again, these are the practices, not sitting down to kind of schedule in 20 minutes of meditation. The practice is learning to train your brain into redirecting your thoughts every time you have a thought that doesn't serve you. If you've spent your life telling yourself you're not good enough, your brain will believe it. And the actions you take will be a reflection of that. Whereas if you change that and you start redirecting those thoughts, reteaching your brain how and what to think, you're changing the outcomes. So you're doing this on a brain level. You're changing the identity on a scientific, tangible brain level. Number two is that by shifting that narrative on an identity level, where it's not just positive thinking, but it becomes actually part of you on a soul level, as part of your core essence, you create that heart-brain coherence. And heart-brain coherence has a very high vibrational frequency. When what you're thinking in your brain is in alignment with what you want in your heart. And what happens when we vibrate at high frequencies? We call high vibration things into our lives. We become magnetic. So those two things are the actual tangible things that are happening with our brain to ensure follow through on this new identity. And also on a quantum level. And before you dismiss all of this as woo-woo, quantum physics is actually the most valid of all the sciences. Because we know that everything that exists in the universe has a vibrational structure. Everything that is a result of interactions between energy fields. So this isn't woo-woo at all, it's science. And I kind of even hate that word because it's a word that's just used to kind of like a reductionist word that's used to remove any power of anything spiritual. And everything is spiritual because we're all spirits in this human body. So identity is literally everything. I cannot stress this enough. There is nothing that will change your life in your health, your relationships, your parenting, your career, your ability to create more than shifting your identity will. You cannot be the successful person without operating from the identity of the successful person. You cannot be the healthy person without operating from that identity. Even if you still can't actually walk, or you still have something happening to your body that isn't ideal, take it from me. You have to shift it internally, mentally, before it can happen physically. But really, what happens if you do? Okay, so that is my rant about the importance of identity. I feel so passionately about this that I've created a little workbook to accompany today's episode to really help you get this going for yourself. Of course, we go deep into this and I guide you in exactly how to do this on my Rise membership, so you can get to that through the show notes. But please head to the show notes also to download this workbook for free. And please start implementing this identity work. Nothing else can change for you on a deep, long-term level until you shift your identity. So this really is the work. These are the practices. Okay, thank you for being here, for listening to this, to help yourself to shift out of victim consciousness, because the more of us who vibrate at a higher frequency, the more we are helping the collective heal. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Reconditioned. I am honestly so grateful to each and every person that tunes in. Thank you also for taking responsibility for your own well-being. You should know that just by choosing to listen to podcasts like this that further your well-being, you're moving more deeply into abundance consciousness. Now, don't forget, I have a bunch of free resources over at laurenvakneen.co.uk, as well as every recommendation you could ever need in regards to your well-being on the LV Recommends page, all categorized for your ease. Thank you also to our sponsors. These episodes would not be possible without them, so make sure to check them out and get some pretty awesome discounts on the show notes. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so that you can get updated each time a new one is released. Thank you. I appreciate you.